What's going on? What's going on? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How we doing today? How are we doing today, man? We got some things to get to. Got some news to get to. I love letting people talk and go ahead and get things off their chest because then it allows you to be able to get back in here and rebuttal with some facts, man. Come on. Come on, get in here. Shout out to everybody, man. I hope we doing good today. Thank you. Oh, I thought you better than here. My bad. Ah. Totally, but I ran the 40 that day. So let's go ahead and start talking about this, man. Watson named the starter for Saturday's preseason game, the first preseason game of the season, man, versus the Browns. Versus the Bears. You got the Bears versus Browns going ahead in Chicago, man. And Deshaun Watson is getting this start. And a lot has been made about him getting the first start. And I think people are trying to take it as though he has the leg up because he's getting the first start. You guys let me know. Is that what you think? You think he has the leg up in the competition because he's getting the first start? Is that what you're reading into it? Is that what we're reading into that right now? One second, man. We getting all the way together. But to me personally, I don't see it that way. But a lot has been made and a lot has been said already that Deshaun Watson getting his first preseason game, what that does for him is puts him in the pole position. At least that's what they're saying. All right. So, first thing I want to think about, though, in a quick dive in while we are here, before we get started, I want everybody to take a look at this. Right? Bang. Look at this defensive formation. When we take a look at this defensive formation, and you got the Cardinals right here lined up. This is like a 3-4 look, except they're subtracting a linebacker. And they're adding a safety. So you take a look here. We got our 3 down here. 2 edge. So these are your 2 outside backers here. And you usually would have 2 interior backers here. Right? But instead of 2 interior backers, what we see is a 3 safety look. Bang. 1, 2, 3 safety look. Now you think about our roster construction. You think about the Browns. Is this something that you could potentially see through the course of the season happening, especially with our linebacker core being a little bit light? Right now you have Carson Schlesinger, Quincy Williams, and everybody else is kind of a question mark there. Do we think we have some guys that can show some life, show some signs? Absolutely. I believe we do have some guys that have some potential in the room. But when you have Grant Delpit, Ronnie Hickman, and you have Emmanuel McNeil Warren, somebody that's shown he can be a playmaker. I can't wait to see what he can do in this preseason coming up. This might be a look that you might see rolled out with the Browns. People have talked about it, but this is potentially what it could look like. Now, I want to show you quickly why I say that. Let's take a look at our good old roster for the defense. Let's look at our linebackers. Carson Schlesinger, Quincy Williams. After that, these guys are all question marks. All question marks. But then we take a look at our safeties. Grant Delpit, Ronnie Hickman, Christopher Edmonds. I believe that's number 41, a guy that's been making a lot of plays. Emmanuel McNeil Warren. This is a reason why I believe you could potentially start to see some things like this. Some formations that pop out like this as far as for your Cleveland Browns, right? Okay. Now, we'll talk about it and we'll dive into it a little bit more. We're not going to continue to look at the roster, but what we are going to do So we're going to go ahead and get in here, man. Deshaun Watson starting week 1 against the Bears. Shouts out to that guy, man. And I hope he comes out, and I hope I hope he can show some signs of life. Head coach Todd Monken has named the starting quarterback for the first week of the preseason. Deshaun Watson will get the first shot during the Browns matchup against the Bears in Chicago to kick off the preseason. In Chicago. Want everybody to keep that phrase in their head, right? Because I have a theory that I'm going to dive into, and we'll get through it through the course of the show. And I think it'll constantly be brought back up, especially as we get to, try and push back against some of the narratives that people are pushing in the media as far as because Deshaun Watson is getting this first start, that means he is the pole leader or he has the pole position to be the Browns starting quarterback for week 1 of the regular season. I personally don't see it that way. I still see this as a fair and honest quarterback competition. I see this playing out because a coach coming in, think about it, a guy that's getting his first shot, he's 60 plus years old, he's wanted to be a head coach for a long time. When this guy comes in, he wants to come in and he wants to win. And looking at the quarterback competition, I want to give these guys both a fair shot. I want to give these guys as level of a playing field as far as these preseason games. So what Coach Monken has told you is that one is going to start one game, one is going to start the other game. They're both going to play about a half in each start. What that tells me is looking at Deshaun Watson, I don't want to bring Deshaun Watson into Cleveland. We already know the fans are going to boo. We already know it's going to be a hostile environment and more pressure on him in Cleveland. So as a coach, where do I want to see and how do I get the most unbiased, clear picture presentation for Deshaun Watson to be able to come out here and put his best chance at performing on the table? You put him in an away building. You know why? Because there's all the questions with the Cleveland media, Cleveland fans. Do they hate him? Do they not? All of these different things. You put him in Chicago. Put him in an away game. Because now this is a neutral setting for Deshaun Watson. He can come out. He can play free. This is going to give him the best chance to come out and show what he can do. And if he can't come out and show you what he can do in this setting right here, boy, oh boy, let the floodgates begin. But we'll dive into that a little bit more later, right? So Deshaun Watson will get the first shot during the Browns matchup against the Bears in Chicago to kick off the preseason on August 15th. Shedeur Sanders will then start the second game of the preseason against the Bills on August 22nd. I'm super excited, Watson said, ahead of Wednesday's practice. All the hard work that I put in, the training with the training staff, my team, my personal team, to get to this stage has been tremendous for me. So I'm super excited for those opportunities and can't wait for it. Monken explained during his press conference before practice on Wednesday that each quarterback will also likely play a half during the first preseason game. He wants to have both Watson and Sanders each experience a 2-minute situation in the first preseason game. I have my reason for how it's going down. And it's still a competition, Monken said. It's still a competition, right? People will try and take this as far as him getting the first crack at it as far as against the Bears, that this is putting Deshaun Watson once again in that pole position. I don't take it as that. Listen to the coach. What is the coach telling you? This is still a competition. It's still a competition, Monken said. We're excited to watch guys practice today, let alone on Saturday. Then next week against Buffalo, we'll get a chance to see them both. Every week we'll assess it. It'll be a little bit more difficult with the player that doesn't play as much this week or the other quarterbacks, right? We'll be able to assess the quarterback that started and how he played when the other quarterbacks came in, and the opposite will be next week against Buffalo. So what he's saying there is it's going to be easy. People want to make it seem like you're not going to be able to judge. You are going to be able to judge because they're both going to get the same sample size. Deshaun Watson is going to get the whole first half of this Bears game. Shedeur Sanders will come in. I don't know if we'll see Dillon Gabriel or Taylor Green, but Shedeur Sanders will come in. And I know we might not see Dillon Gabriel or Taylor Green because Coach Monken says he wants to see both of them in the 2-minute drill, in a 2-minute situation. Well, how are you going to see that? Possibly the fourth quarter with Shedeur Sanders in this Bears game, right? It's clear, man. I feel like it's still competition mode. This is how you get a base level assumption. You give both guys a neutral type of setting. You give them both an advantageous type of setting for each individual, especially for Deshaun Watson. He doesn't have to come to Cleveland and deal with the fans immediately. This gives him a clean slate. If he can't work and Cook in this situation right here, to me, that's an indictment on him. Over the first 8 days of camp, Watson and Sanders alternated reps with the first team each day. Watson then took reps with the first team on back-to-back days on August 7th and 8th, the first of which the Browns practiced in helmets, while the second day they were in pads to help even out the number of reps with the first team. To help even out the number of reps with the first team. So when we read these things, we have to listen. We have to actually be listening, man. Shouts out to R Jizzle. I see you up in here. Hey, that secondary is nice, man. That secondary is nice. Irvin Reed, what's going on, family? I see you up in here also. So, to help even out the number of reps, a lot has been made about Deshaun Watson getting those back-to-back days. People felt like it was reps taken away from Shedeur Sanders. Honestly, I felt like Shedeur Sanders was getting the bulk of the reps. I kept telling people it seemed like Shedeur Sanders was getting more first-team reps. Everybody wanted to, get up in a tizzy, get their panties in a bunch about this. I don't think it's anything. But either way, Deshaun Watson got the 7th and the 8th, and that was for him to, quote-unquote, catch up on reps to help even out the number of reps. The Browns returned to alternating days with the first team, with Watson taking those reps most recently on August 11th during Tuesday's practice. Watson connected with wide receiver Isaiah Bond on a deep pass, across the middle of the field for a touchdown during an 11-on-11 period. And wide receiver Cedric Tillman down the right sideline for a big completion during the first 7-on-7 period. Over the course of training camp, quarterbacks coach Mike, we're going to call him Mike B, man, because I don't know what that is. Mike B has seen Watson handle the natural ebbs and flows of training camp. Okay. Honestly, I don't feel like, this is anything that we're not hip to. This isn't anything that we're not aware to. So when we get through here and we start looking at it and we look at what's going on as far as coming up on Saturday, this is the same thing that we've been seeing in practice, man. The competition is starting now. So everybody picking sides or wanting to jump. We heard Mary Kay come out and say that Deshaun Watson has a slight edge. Mary Kay, stop it. Mary Kay, please stop it. We're tired of it. Don't come out and tell us who has an edge anymore. We don't care. What we'll do is we'll watch these throws on Saturday, as anybody that's watching and really wanting to know what's going to happen and what's going on with these quarterbacks should be doing. The timeout for the questioning and the agendas is over with. Absolutely over with. At this point right here, it's time to watch throw for throw, play for play. Let's go ahead, dive into a couple of things that we've been seeing, man. Yesterday, they had practice again. Once again, we're in preparation now, so it's no longer camp. This isn't camp anymore. We're in preparation for the preseason. We're getting ready to rock out. We're getting ready to roll, man. Installs are done. No more installing. The offense, as far as to this point, is installed. We need to be able to get to the line of scrimmage, get through our, plays, get through the play call, get out and execute. See Larvidan come through with a catch from Deshaun Watson here. At this point, I'm curious to see how this offensive line is going to hold up. Saturday, big test for this first offensive line. Fano, what are you looking like Saturday, right? This is your first time. I know you've been battling with Verse. I know he's been staying after practice, giving you a couple pointers, things of that nature. What I'll tell you right now is this is going to be a big test, and that's somebody that I'm going to be watching and we'll be diagnosing on the All-22 film, looking at Fano in this pass coverage and the whole rest of the offensive line, because everybody in this offensive line, remember, we call it the Chex Mix offensive line, because it is patchwork, but it's a completely retooled, rebuilt offensive line. So I feel like this is a unit that needs to be questioned, put under the microscope, especially during this preseason. I want to see how many reps they're getting. I want to see what rotations they're using. I know we have a base depth chart for what they're looking at going into the season, but I want to see if any of that changes. If somebody starts to get spanked, or if people start to, look great, look like they're holding up their water, holding up their end of the bargain. So I want to see how this offensive line is looking. I want to see how the run game looks. I want to see how they move the line of scrimmage, right? And I want to see if they can stand fast and hold water in the pass game. Nice catch there. Deshaun Watson coming out. I think we need to be looking at Deshaun Watson as far as keys to his performance, right? When we talk about Deshaun Watson this week, I know Deshaun Watson can connect on a deep ball. What we need to be looking for as far as for Deshaun Watson is some of the same things that we questioned about as far as for Shedeur Sanders. We need to be looking at a level of being able to play on time, on schedule, and the game not looking like it's too fast for him. I want to see Deshaun Watson hit that back foot on a 3-step drop get through his options and release the ball smoothly and get it there. Across the middle, I don't want to see him throwing into traffic late because he's getting to his back shoulder. He's getting to his third, fourth option, and then now he's throwing it up across the middle way too late. When we look at Deshaun Watson, we need to be looking at his timing. Is the game moving too fast for him? Is he feeling phantom rushes? When we looked at Deshaun Watson before in his prior history, prior stints with the Browns, what we've seen from Deshaun Watson is sometimes he's escaping a clean pocket. What I mean by escaping a clean pocket is he can drop back and there's no rush. Nobody is appearing to get home. Nobody is causing any type of pressure on him, but yet you'll still see him start to roll right, roll left, step up, trying to scramble when there's no rush there. I need Deshaun Watson to keep his eyes down the field, find targets, and get the ball out. Can he connect on deep balls? Yes, and I would like to see that as well, but I want to see Deshaun Watson in the short and intermediate game. I want to see how he can handle it. I want to see how he looks after he gets his bell rung one good time, right? I want to see him get smacked. And I want to see if he can get back up and continue to play. Remember, 2 Achilles surgeries and a completely rebuilt shoulder. A shoulder surgery that's not like anything we've seen in the NFL. This is more of a Tommy John's pitching MLB type of surgery, right? Can that hold up? People have questioned whether, and we had debates in the chat as well, in the comments with you guys, on whether Deshaun Watson seems like he's feeling any type of inflammation, or he seems like he has any type of irritation, pain, wincing when he throws the ball, maybe rubbing the shoulder after throws, things like that. And I told folks I haven't seen any of it. To me, it seems like the guy still has a rocket. It just doesn't seem as accurate as he would like it to be. But when we talk about it, I feel like we need to see that. Let's see him get rocked. Let's see him throw the ball. Does that shoulder look like it has any fatigue? Does it look like he's pushing the ball? Because I oftentimes have talked about him almost aiming the ball, shot putting it, instead of just delivering it. He doesn't seem confident. And I think part of it is mentally he has to get his confidence back underneath him. Is it too late? Is it too far gone? I guess we'll see Saturday and see in the future. But these are all things that we have to question. Shedeur Sanders, what he comes in and does Saturday, we'll get to see him as well. Anything he does, I need to see it be clean, crisp. This will probably be against third, fourth team units. Anything you do, whether you have the third, fourth offensive line or pass catching core, you dealt with it all last year. I need to see you cook. Whether it's versus 3, 4, 5, 6, me and Uncle Bob at the rec center. You need to be cooking. So I'm expecting the offense to perform at a high clip. Once again, during the preseason, you do see vanilla defenses. You're getting a lot of base defenses. You're not getting all of the, extreme coverages. We're rolling this, rolling that. A lot of times the defense is going to show up. You're going to see what they're in, and that's what it is. We're not disguising too much. We're coming out and we're playing ball. In that type of scenario for quarterbacks, especially a veteran quarterback in Deshaun Watson, but quarterbacks, this is the time where you should be able to quickly decipher coverages. You should be able to quickly diagnose where you should be going with the football. I want to see that. I want to see the timing. I want to see the footwork. I want to see the getting through the options, right? I want to see those development things, not only in Deshaun Watson, but also Shedeur Sanders, whether it's versus the 3s, 2s, doesn't matter. I want to see those things as well, right? When we talk about our defense, what I would like to see from our defense, what I want to see from our defense is I want to see them come out and be the same exact defense that we saw last year. Do I want to see some new wrinkles, new additions? Yes. But what I want to see, though, is that they have that same level of dog in them. I want to see Jared Verse get home. Be completely honest. I need Jared Verse to get home on 1 or 2 sacks during this preseason. And I'm talking about this first game versus the Bears, not the complete totality of the preseason. I need Jared Verse home twice. Set the tone for the season. Set the tone for the defensive line. I need to see Quincy Williams flying around. Quincy Williams has talked about, being aggressive, being fast, physical, and bringing big hitting to the defense. I need to see some of that. I know you might not get the whole game. I know it's not, everything. It's not the regular season. I need to see it. We're building on something in Cleveland. This is a young team. These are stepping stones, right? This is Coach Monken's first season as a coach. We need to see what it's looking like. And I feel like this needs to be as close to regular season that you can perform as a player at this point in time, that you can get it to. You need to be primed up. You need to be ready to go. These guys need to be excited. These guys need to come out with piss and vinegar in their system and ready to get to it, man. Let's go ahead and get to our first thing today. Let's tap into this. Let's watch some of these things from practice, man. Hey, this is courtesy of Well Off Media. Shouts out to Bucky, man. What are you expecting to see from these wide receivers? From these wide receivers, I'm expecting to see some of the same things that we've seen all camp. Denzel Boston, I need to see him working. I need to see bully ball. Same thing AB's been asking for. Shouts out you guys up in here. R Jizzle, JB2 Smooth, what's going on? How y'all doing? Miss Charmaine, good to see you. Black Pearl TV, how you doing today? LV, excuse me. I'm tripping. Every time I say that one, I mess that one up. Black Pearl, what's going on though? R Jizzle, yeah, they never scrutinize the running game. They just talk about the QBs and wide receivers as far as offense is concerned. That line is going to be what I'm watching. Absolutely. We definitely need to be honed in and locked in on the offensive line. Black Pearl says, how do you think Watson will perform this Saturday? Me personally, how do I think Watson can perform? I think Watson can perform solid. I think Watson will perform. I think it's going to go one of two ways. I think Watson's going to come out and he's going to look good. He's going to look like a competent NFL quarterback, or it's going to look bad. It's going to look like some of those same things we've seen before. I'm honestly, I'm not sure, because I'm sure Coach Monken is going to keep some things safe for him. But I think at a certain point, though, Coach Monken is also going to dial it up for him. He's going to want to see what this guy can do. He might start off safe for him, but as the first quarter starts to wind down, we start to get into that second quarter and we're rolling. I expect to see the playbook opened up. I expect to see Deshaun Watson moving around and put in situations where he's going to have to make real-time decisions with the football. And whether it's going to be a good decision or a bad decision is yet to be seen. I think we'll see Saturday, though. What's going on? R Jizzle, his performance will depend on how the line looks. I think the line will play a big part in it, but I think honestly the speed of the game and how he's feeling mentally is going to be the bigger factor. I think he's going to be what? What'd you say, Irvin? I think he's going to be underwhelming to our eyes. Okay, there you go. But the staff and media will be a different story. I think it'll be underwhelming, but once again, this is kind of like a toss-up. If you're going to look at the history and if you're making a decision based off of what we've seen, prior from Deshaun Watson, then obviously you think this is going to be underwhelming. I don't know, man. I'm not praying on his downfall, but I don't think it's going to be just lights out. We'll see. We'll see, honestly. See a nice pass across the middle there. When I'm watching Shador, man, that release is looking clean and crispy. It doesn't look as elongated as it used to look. Look at that. That looks clean and crispy. Hey, I told you Dylan can throw the hell out of an out route. Dylan can throw an out route. Our Jizzle. Shador looks like he's in better control of the offense. He's taking what they're giving him. That's what they've asked from him. That's what they've asked. We know Shador can extend plays. We know Shador can throw the deep ball. We know Shador can make big plays. What we here to see is, can he play on time and in schedule? On schedule.
New eats. I'm only eating food. Okay.
Black Pearl says, I like that, our Jizzle. That's one of the things he needed to improve on from last season. Yeah, that's one of the things that they harped on. And that's what he's been doing. Ooh, that's a great... What? Ugh. My gosh. That's a great play. Ugh. Jerry Jeudy, your days are numbered, man. And you know, anybody that's been part of the channel, man, you know I support Jerry Jeudy more than most of y'all. But boy, oh boy, your days are numbered, player. Ah, look at that. That's nice. I like that. Uh-oh. Hold on. Ha! Ha! Hey, you hear him operating the offense? We're talking about pre-snap. Getting guys lined up, knowing the offense, knowing where to go. This seems like they're moving the ball in a 2-minute drill type of scenario. Am I tripping? Let's running back. Does it not seem like a 2-minute type of scenario? Look how they get to the line of scrimmage after the throw. That's crazy. Give me those. It's nice. Art Jizzle said, Bond looking like me out there, minus the hair. Yeah. What's going on, Selmo Fudd? How you doing, man? Hey, once again, man, this is courtesy of Well Off Media, man. Shouts out to Bucky on this footage here. He said, all right, Jizzle, you must be a bad man. You know, at this part right here, man, the kids get out there, man, they get to have fun with them. And honestly, man, these guys do a lot as far as the Browns, you know, getting out there, getting the kids involved. They bring the kids out. They stay out there. You got guys that stay out there for hours after practice, you know, signing autographs and stuff. They try and make sure every kid at least comes away with one autograph, man. So that's a beautiful thing. You never know what that could inspire a young person to do, man. So shouts out to them. Shouts out to them. Now, let's continue moving. As we saw, man, we saw Watson in there. We saw that duo of Shador to Bond looking crazy. That catch, that was nice. I'm not going to lie. That was a nice grab. Shouts out to Bond. These are some things that we're looking to see from him. These are some of the things that we're looking to see from him. In here, we do have a poll. Let me go ahead and tap in with the poll. Let me see what's going on. I don't even know if I can see the poll right now. Let's see. Oh, not gonna let me see the whole poll. Let me see the whole poll. Okay, decent but not great is at 54%. I don't think I can see the rest of the poll. I don't know why. But either way, we good, man. When I look in here and I think about it, though, and I think about Deshaun Watson, and I think about this quarterback competition, and I think about what is possibly to come, man, listen here. This boy better come out and play. His career is on the line. You can say it's not. You can say it's tough. His career is definitely on the line, man. I feel like Deshaun has to come out and have a strong showing. He has to come out and have a strong showing, man. He's had too much time off. Let's go ahead and dive into this debate here. Shouts out to the Speakeasy. What's going on, y'all? Let's dive into the Speakeasy.
We have to talk about the Cleveland Browns head coach. Todd Monken came out and said that Deshaun Watson will be starting the first preseason game in Chicago against the Bears this Saturday, and he plans to start Shedeur Sanders in the second preseason game at home on next Saturday against the Bills. If you guys didn't see yesterday, they released the depth chart and they said Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders as the starting quarterback. Every other position on the field has an already named starter, but the quarterback position still not determined yet. You guys' reaction to Todd Monken having this kind of quarterback controversy or quarterback competition heading into the preseason and starting different quarterbacks in each game?
All right, look, Prize Picks is America's #1 sports. No lie, you fit.
Deshaun Watson is going to be the week 1 starter.
Picks. It's good to be right.
Not surprised. I figure Deshaun Watson is going to be the week 1 starter. And so,
to that point, let me offer some pushback. Week 1 starter because they give him the first preseason game. I don't think we're reading into what Coach is saying. Coach has said this is still a competition. So you can say that, TJ, but there's no level of certainty to that. Because if Deshaun Watson comes out, let me ask you guys in the chat. If Deshaun Watson comes out and absolutely stinks it up Saturday versus the Bears, you think he'll be named the starting quarterback? Let me know.
So he going to start preseason game number 1. And if you don't believe he's going to be the starter, then it's a seniority type of thing. Who starts the first game in the preseason? I don't.
Seniority or protection for Deshaun? Are we trying to give Deshaun the best situation possible for him to come out here and give his best showing? Because we know his best opportunity is not going to be in front of the Cleveland fans. What happened the last time he blew his Achilles? They stood up and cheered. Do I condone that? No. So honestly, to me personally, you bring him out against the Bears because you want him to be able to play in front of a neutral audience. You don't want anybody booing him per se. You want him to be able to come out and mentally focus on football. Not everybody yelling at him, trolling him, all of that. Does that not make sense? Oh, appreciate you, Miss Charmaine. 100 jewels. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I don't believe it matters. I truly believe Deshaun Watson is going to start week 1. Yeah. Deshaun Watson is going to probably get 3-4 games. If he 3-1 or 2-2, he may get more. But you can't put too much stock into this because when they play the Bears, what you think their starter's going to play? A series, maybe 2, the Bears defense. Yeah. And so it's really hard now when we have all these young coaches, the McVays and the LaFleur, they don't really play their guys in the preseason. And so it's hard to really get a gauge on what a guy may or may not do. I know when I was in the preseason, when I was young, I wanted to play as much as I can. And then as soon as you become a starter, you be like, God, how many plays we got? How many plays we got? If we don't go 3 and out, it's just one drive. Man. Boy, we doing everything in our power to get a first down.
Oh, wow.
Because we trying to get out the game. And so for the Cleveland Browns, if Shedeur Sanders shows them that he's capable of being a starter, he's going to be the starter.
But before the season?
No.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I'm getting lost.
Y'all know what Deshaun Watson base salary is?
Like 40,
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man, hey, shouts out. Hold on, who said it? Let me find you. Somebody said it. They gonna talk about the contracts, and it's a lazy take. I forget who said it. Somebody in here in the comments. I forget who said it first, but shouts out to you because it is a lazy take. We talk about the contracts, not understanding that this contract has been restructured every single year. This contract also had insurance put on it that saved the Browns $88+ million on it. So when you factor in $88+ million and every time they restructure, you're over $100 million saved on the contract. return on investment is not needed. The guy's played 19 out of 85 possible games for you. When you're still searching for return on investment, let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
He started. Big bag. He
Yeah,
started.
I mean, I agree. It's like Deshaun is going to have first right of refusal or failure in this stance. But you have to let Deshaun go out there and either show that he's the man.
Shouts out Black Pearl. You came in there with it first. Shouts out Black Pearl. Lazy tape.
And worth everything you paying him, or give a reason to start Shedeur. And that's what they have to do. You know, it's in good faith, it's in good contract. It's just common sense that we paying this dude all this money. We got to get some use out of him. You can't have a $100,000 car sitting in the garage and you're not putting it to good use. So either way, I think Shedeur is going to benefit from this, right? I like philosophy. I know some
Benefit from what?
philosophers. I read up on some philosophers.
Okay, Aristotle.
Right?
Whatnot?
You gotta
Confucius.
Socrates. Play your way. So when they go to waive you, trade you, injure reserve you, or do whatever they do, be worth 10 times as much.
Do you guys think in any way, and we had this conversation yesterday, do you guys think in any way this is a tad soft from the Browns? Not naming a starter right now when I think everybody knows that Deshaun Watson is going to be the day one starter.
Honestly, I think it's still a competition. This is where I have to offer pushback, Karen, because I feel like this right here is a lazy take as well. Honestly, when we listen to everything that Coach Monken has said, we just read the article from the Browns where he told you that this is still competition time. That's the whole reason for them splitting the preseason, right? He's told you one quarterback is going to start one game, the next one is going to start the next game. So honestly, I still feel like we're at the period where we're looking at both quarterbacks under a microscope. There is no, we know Deshaun is going to be the starter. Because I tell you what, and I've said this before, if he comes out and stinks it up Saturday, this same take, this same narrative will kind of sound like malarkey, won't it?
A lot of the theories are Todd Monken's not trying to avoid the distraction outside of the locker room and whatnot, and have to have everybody answer questions about why is Shedeur not starting? Why is Shedeur not starting? Every other position on the depth chart is decided except for quarterback, and we know who's really going to be the week one starter. How do you guys feel about that decision to still make it open as of right now when everybody really knows, it seems, who's actually going to start?
Hey, if Deshaun Watson get out there and go 2 for 10 with 3 picks, he ain't starting. And Shedeur goes out there and ball.
Okay, TJ, so then with that same point, then how can you come out and tell us that he's going to be the week one starter? You just make yourself sound... Am I wrong for saying that? That kind of sounds backwards. It sounds like you're trying to be right. It just sounds like you're trying to be right. It sounds like you're talking out of both. Pick a side and stand on it. Is he going to be the week one starter or is he not? Now, don't pose a scenario where he's going to be terrible. To me, that's just painting the light where you want to be right.
I don't believe, like, it ain't like Deshaun Watson can just go out there and be straight ass and he's still going to start week one. He's going to have to show that he's capable of being, if Shedeur Sanders just outplays him in the preseason and it's just like by a mile, then Shedeur Sanders will start. I just believe Deshaun Watson is going to play well enough to where it's like, man, we giving him 40 plus million. Let's see if this going to be the year. Let's see if we can recapture this Houston Texan, Deshaun Watson, because it's always that hope of, man, this is going to be the year. And you paying him all this money regardless, so you at least going to give him an opportunity. Yeah. You have to.
You got to see what it is. Yeah. I mean,
his opportunity is Saturday. Yeah, we're paying. He's still on the roster. He's getting an opportunity to see what he can do Saturday. Just, that doesn't mean we're coming out and giving him the season. That's astronomically lazy of you guys to say that. Once again, to keep coming back to the money, nobody mentions the multiple times we've restructured this contract. Nobody mentions the 88 plus million saved. Why are these not conversational pieces thrown around when we start talking about this, though? Because we're talking about return on investment, but when we're talking about the investment, let's not talk. Why are we not talking about all of the investment totals, everything that happened with the money? Everybody wants to say 230 million. Okay, well, let's talk about where that 230 really went, because I can see 100 of it gone.
Do you guys think the preseason will end up mattering in this quarterback competition? Like you said, if he goes out there and goes 2 for 10.
If the coach has said we're judging this off of the preseason, we haven't even named the starter. You know why? Because I'm waiting to see these guys play in the preseason. Yes, Care Bear, the preseason absolutely is going to matter in this competition. What are we talking about?
And with 2 picks, and then Shedeur goes out there in game 2 and he balls out. We could have a conversation, but is there a world where you genuinely think the preseason matchups, when they're playing with a bunch of backups against a bunch of backups, is going to matter in terms of the who becomes the starting quarterback game 1?
I think ultimately it will matter because if Deshaun Watson plays bad and Shedeur lights it up, he has to be the starter. Yeah. And so, of course, it matters, but I wouldn't put a bunch of stock into Deshaun has to play great or he has to play extremely bad if he's.
Let's say Deshaun Watson plays middle of the road, right? He throws 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. It looks subpar. I mean, it looks decent. Let's say he goes 15 to 24, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. But Shedeur comes out and goes 22 or 28, 3 TDs, no interceptions. Boy, you lying to me if we starting Deshaun Watson? You out your mind.
Just solid. He's going to be the starter. So, yeah, it does somewhat matter. It has to matter. Because what are you saying to the locker room if one just seriously outplays the other and you don't start him?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough conversation at the end of the day.
So it has to matter.
Have you guys ever been involved in a position battle in training camp? Like a genuine position battle in training camp? Or was it a situation where, like, I'm getting paid this money, I know I'm going to be the starter?
I've never been in a position battle during camp. I've lost my position in camp by going out there and underperforming, and the next day of practice, coach was like, hey, you ain't starting today. Because I was out there slacking, right? Yeah. But it was to get something out of me. Mm-hmm. That next day of practice, I was laying everything down. It was game time. Every play was game day. Yeah. So I was starting in practice after that. And he told me, hey, why do I got to bench you to get this type of practice from you? And I was like, you right. You right. So that was last time. But preseason always matters, man, especially at the quarterback position.
TJ, you were drafted.
Hey, I appreciate that. That's a pretty honest, self-assessment right there, and to be vulnerable enough to come out and say, hey, I was slacking in practice, and the coach had the balls to bench me and say, man, hey, shouts out to TJ giving this kind of credit. But one thing I have to push back on is there's no way TJ didn't witness a quarterback competition in Cleveland. Never?
Situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, Hoosh, you were drafted in a similar situation as Shedeur. I think you went, 6th or 7th round? Mm-hmm. Ended up going later. How did you end up earning that spot heading into training camp or going there? Like how did you end up getting that opportunity?
I ain't gonna.
All right. They're getting off into their own personal stories. Don't care about it. Sorry. Appreciate y'all. Let's go ahead and talk to this point right here. Shouts out to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Let's dive in and interact with these guys now.
Todd Monken continued to play his games where he wouldn't announce who the starter was going to be to the media because it's a tough life getting asked questions. We all know that. So he said he was going to tell the guys after practice, which I don't believe. I think they already knew. And then...
So this is the thing. Here we go. Now Coach Monken is a liar. We'll have to question Coach Monken's credibility. He's already now off on a bad foot with the Cleveland media because of how he's handling this quarterback competition and the fact that they don't get the info. So the key theme here with the Cleveland media is them being upset that Coach Monken hasn't came and given them the info first. They have to hear when it's announced, just like everybody else. Just like me, just like you. They have to wait until it's announced, and then they can go on and make their comments and talk about it. That's why the Cleveland media is upset. Saudi, they don't get tidbits. You've been blocked out of the paint. You don't get any boards around here, brother.
It's a tough life getting in. Yesterday, Todd Monken continued to play his games where he wouldn't announce who the starter was going to be to the media because it's a tough life getting asked questions. We all know.
Listen to that statement. Listen to that. Let's run him back. Salty as hell that you cannot get an announcement from the coach. You know why? Because you blew your chance. You guys smoked your layup. You had an opportunity to come in and get in good with Coach when he first got here, but what did you try and do? You tried to start firestorms in the media immediately. So what do? He say, listen, any of y'all talk to the coach, talk to these media guys without me being there. If I tell you this and you tell, you out of here. It's been cutthroat with the media.
Yesterday, Todd Monken continued to play his games where he wouldn't announce who the starter was going to be to the media because it's a tough life getting asked questions. We all know that. So he said he was going to tell the guy.
I need to hear that one more time. I just want you to hear that one more time so you understand the level of hurt that the Cleveland media has as far as Coach Monken freezing them out of the paint.
Yesterday, Todd Monken continued to play his games where he wouldn't announce who the starter was going to be to the media because it's a tough life getting asked questions. We all know that. So he said he was going to tell the guys after practice, which I don't believe. I think they already knew. And then after practice, instead of, talking to the media again, Browns put out a press release. Is there practice today, by the way?
Instead of talking to the media again, the Browns put out a press release. So when Coach Monken starts to get all of this unnecessary heat, understand where it comes from. It comes from a place of, well, he won't talk to us. He doesn't give us what we want to know. He doesn't give us story material. We can't go write a big board article on The Athletic on any major site and criticize this guy. We don't have any fodder. He's not giving us the feed.
I think they already knew. And then after practice, instead of, talking to the media again, Browns put out a press release. Is there practice today, by the way?
I think they're traveling. They're traveling to Chicago.
Yeah, what a shocker.
Zach isn't coming
so
back.
Now he doesn't have to talk about it for a couple of days.
And you said we were crazy for suggesting.
Hey, shouts out to this guy because every day I've been at camp, I've gotten to see this guy and gotten to talk to him, man. This is Daniel Oyefusi, man. Shouts out to Daniel Oyefusi, man. Big shouts out to this guy. This guy is taking huge steps, huge strides in the Cleveland media. So, Daniel, if you're out there, man, shouts out to you, brother. Can't wait to see you again, man.
He didn't want to talk about it. I mean, his actions clearly show you he's not too fond
I didn't
about
say it
wanting
was
to talk
crazy.
about
I said it was an embarrassing reason not to say something.
Okay.
Not necessarily that wasn't the reason. I wasn't necessarily disagreeing with you that being the reason, just that I thought it was a stupid reason.
Fair.
But anyway, the bottom line is more importantly that Deshaun Watson has been named the starter for the first preseason game, something I think we all kind of assumed now for a little bit. The press release also said that Shedeur Sanders would start the second preseason game against Buffalo.
Also worth mentioning, Monken said Deshaun's going to play the first half.
Yeah.
And Shedor's going to play the third quarter in this preseason opener against Chicago. So we at least know for the first iteration of the quarterback battle in game situations, Deshaun for a half. Monken said he wants to see Deshaun get a 2-minute drill. Hopefully that's how the game plays out, and then Shedeur will play in the third quarter with whoever's left.
Can you put that tweet up again, Anthony? Because that was confusing to me. I want to read this again. Monken said he hopes to play the quarterback that starts on Saturday for the first half.
Hey, shouts out to Daniel Oyefusi once again, man, because this guy is crazy. He gets to break the story. He gets to break the scoop. He gets to break it to everybody. Not Tony Grossi, not Zach Jackson, not Jason Lloyd, not Mary Kay Cabot. Daniel Oyefusi. Shouts out, brother.
But the other getting to play in the third quarter. Plan is to get the starters at least one series. So if he said he wants the quarterback to play a half.
Yeah.
So
Deshaun Watson's going to play a half,
Yeah.
and the offensive line, the starters may play a series or two, and then he'll go behind the twos.
Oh, okay. That seems weird to me, but all right.
Usually that does seem a little off because usually, generally speaking, they usually keep the starting offensive line in
with the starting quarterback.
Right. So
because you can't afford to lose your starting quarterback behind backup offensive
I was
line.
thinking, by the way,
But what is usual about this? We have a completely new offensive line. So, yes, we have 5 starters laid out. Nah, all 10 of those guys, when we go look at this roster, when we go look at the Browns roster, all 10 of those offensive linemen should be playing this first half. We need to be rotating them in and out, seeing what rotations work the best, how it's going to work for this regular season. No, any of these guys get to get out after a couple series and sit down. Ain't nobody getting a veteran type of what? You don't get no, absolutely not. Get your behind in and block some damn body. We need to see what you can do. So this isn't a regular situation by any means. They all need to play the first half. Everybody. All the receivers, the same thing. The ones and twos need to play the whole first half. Am I crazy for saying that? Poll in the chat right now. Go ahead and throw a 1 in here if you think that the ones and the twos starting lineups as far as offensively need to play the whole first half. Ones and twos. If not, put a 2 in the chat if you think they need to only play a quarter or so as far as the offensive line, wide receivers, all those guys, and get up out of there.
That I know the safe assumption is that Deshaun Watson is the preemptive starter. Like, he's most likely going to be the starter in week 1 because of how this is being handled. And that's probably true, but I'll give you like a little bit of a conspiracy theory here. That maybe, if you want to have some faith that Shedeur Sanders is going to start week 1 of the season, then maybe he picked Shedeur Sanders to start game 2 because he's more likely to face a first-team defense in game 2 than in game 1. If I'm the Bears, I'm not playing my first-team defense more than one series, if at all, in the first preseason game. The second preseason
totally
game, you play more.
No, because you have a joint practice with them one day before. I think
true,
fewer
too.
starters on both sides are actually going to play in the game.
Generally, I'm right, but you are correct. That's true. I didn't think about that. That because they're doing the scrimmage, maybe the guys don't play. But they're only doing one scrimmage. A lot of times you do two
they're just doing the 1 day joint practice.
They're only doing joint practice.
Take your day off, playing again.
I guess we'll see, but
anyway. Were you surprised that this ended up being Deshaun for the first preseason game and Shedeur for the second?
No. Well, I do believe, like, the thing about Deshaun Watson is he hasn't played in such a long time. Like, I do think that there's a level of pressure at your first start being at home when it's kind of contentious a little bit. I do think that you start them on the road a little bit. You know, road games are a little strange because the energy is different. On the road, it's like everybody is really locked in. It's just you versus the world, kind of.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about the fans blowing down. The fans are not going to be boo, you stink, trolling you about allegations, all of the different things that we've seen Cleveland fans have the potential to do. You're not going to experience that in Chicago. If you want Deshaun Watson to have the most plausible chance to go out there and be successful, this is it.
And I think that's a better opportunity to start somebody on the road instead of at whatever the case may be in front of the home crowd. That's the minor part. The major part is I'm not surprised because I think that they want a good picture of exactly what he is off top. They want to know, like, right now, like, okay, you haven't played.
G. Bush. Is G. Bush not saying everything I've been saying? I didn't pre-watch this.
Somebody on the road instead of
shout out Big Bro.
Whatever the case may be in front of the home crowd. That's the minor part. The major part is I'm not surprised because I think that they want a good picture of exactly what he is off top. They want to know, like, right now, like, okay, you haven't played, you ain't seen these live bullets yet. Let's get you out on this football field, see what you can do right now. And I think people say, well, if he starts this game, he probably will be the starter for the year. I don't agree with that because I think that when you look at it, the thing we haven't seen Deshaun Watson do well is play against other people well. It is.
The thing we haven't seen Deshaun Watson do well is play against other people well. Boy, that was a bar, G.
Generally speaking, I don't agree with that because I think that when you look at it, the thing we haven't seen Deshaun Watson do well is play against other people well. It isn't, generally speaking, that he is not good in practice. Like, sometimes we so far away from it that we got to remind people that, look, when he was playing last, it wasn't crazy.
It was not good. No, it was bad. It was bad.
I have never seen him throw for 300 yards in a Browns jersey, like, which is crazy. I've seen like one half against the Ravens, and that was pretty much it. So for me, it's almost like watching him as a new player. Watching him as a new player after the shoulder, after the 2 Achilles, and watching him with the processing. That's the thing with Deshaun Watson I'm looking for.
I think this decision to go Deshaun first, Shedeur second in terms of the first preseason game second, it makes perfect sense, and it's actually setting up both to give them their best performances.
Shouts out McNuggets. That's what I've been saying. You're trying to be neutral. You want to give both of these quarterbacks their best chance at putting out their best tape, their best performance. When you look at the layout of the preseason, this is an effective way to give both of them an unbiased chance, a fair shot, a fair crack. This has been a fair competition. Anybody that thinks it hasn't been fair or it's been rigged, I'm telling you in real time, it's been proven over and over and over again that this is a fair competition.
In the preseason, we can argue whether or not the home crowd will, should, how loud.
Oh, they'll boo
their
him.
reaction to Deshaun
But if
Watson.
he can't handle that, he's never going to succeed anyway.
Fair. But if you're trying to still get an evaluation of these guys by putting him as the starting quarterback on the road, there will be fewer boos. And if there are boos, it's expected in a road game, right?
Yeah.
We can argue all we want about should the fans, whatever. But it's going to have an impact on Deshaun Watson if he steps out on the field for the first time in front of his home fans in a preseason game and is getting booed. How big of an impact? I have no idea. But it will have an impact.
Mike, don't you? He's going to play in front of the home crowd if he's the starter.
You're still trying to make the...
It doesn't matter, Bull. We're talking about right now in the sense of the competition, all outside noise aside, what do we want to do to give both guys a fair, clear shot? That's how you would want to do it. We get you don't like Watson, so, I mean, I get it. But if you're Coach Monken and you want to see what this guy can do without everything else and you want to give him a clear, fair shot to see what Deshaun Watson has, this is where you would go. It just makes perfect sense. I don't understand why that's hard to comprehend.
Evaluation.
I know that, but shouldn't you make a proper evaluation? If you're saying it's going to affect him to get booed, well, then it's a bogus evaluation.
Then guess what? He's got the third one to do that too. I think he's going to play against Buffalo, and you can't. So my point is to see what you have in Deshaun still, to get the best version. You put him out there on the road at first, where he's the more veteran quarterback than Shador. He should be able to handle any crowd noise from an opposing fan base better than Shador based on the fact that he's played a lot more games.
This is the most insane thing you've ever said in the history of the show.
I think I'm being perfectly reasonable. And then Shador, by the way, who, once again, I've been out of practice, but everyone who's been out there says the word cadence is the new buzzword of the summer. That's part of the reason that Shador hasn't maybe passed Deshaun Watson in some of these hypothetical depth charts so far.
Yeah.
It's easier to get your calls in at home when you're not facing a road crowd. So this sets up Deshaun to give you his best version of Deshaun, whatever that may be, by starting him in Chicago. And then Shador starting at home gives you a chance to see his best version at home.
It's kind of tough, Bull, because I think about it like this. So say Deshaun Watson comes out, it's a mixed bag. You know, maybe they look okay, but, some sacks or, maybe an interception or some errant throws or whatever the case may be. You're like, oh, it was average. If Shador comes out at home against Buffalo and he throws a couple touchdown passes or they move up and down the field and he throwing the wrist up and all the crowd, by the way, at practice, they react to every throw Shador Sanders had. Right. Everybody. Yeah. So can you imagine that in the game? So now it puts you in a perspective of if the Browns were going into it thinking, you know what, we just going to do it. We're going to work with Deshaun. We're going to go with Deshaun. We just going to let it play out. It's going to be a problem because now it's the second, what you say, the person who goes second always has the momentum to rebuttal because you only remember what you just saw. Mm-hmm. So now if he cooks and they want to go and start Deshaun, then you start off with this thing that is going to be an issue because people going to say, well, hold on. I just seen Shador throw two touchdowns. He was cooking them. And so it puts them with more pressure.
That's if that happens
If that happens that way.
But we also know that they're not evaluating these guys based solely on what they do in preseason games.
I know that, but that's the risk you run.
Yeah. Why they always got some health risk going on UCSS, man? Somebody always coughing, snorting, sniffling something on there, boy. They got to get some better health up there, man. I hate that. All right, I got into the poll, man. Let's go ahead and tap in. Will Watson perform well versus the Bears, man? We've got some votes in here right now. Yes, it's sitting at 24%. Yes, he'll perform well. No, it's sitting at 33%. Okay? The overwhelming winner right now is decent, but not great. Decent, but not great is winning at 43%. So right now, when we look at the fan base, what they're expecting, what you guys are expecting from Deshaun Watson is for him to come out and be okay. Mediocre. It's going to look all right. Now, my question off of the poll is, Do you think that a mediocre performance or a subpar performance or a decent performance, not great performance, will lead ultimately to the Browns making Deshaun Watson a starter for the regular season?
Yeah.
Because it's televised, because people see it. So, like, when you get apples to apple and one person played and it's like, okay, it was decent, but another person played and you felt like it was really good and people see it, it's going to put pressure on. They're going to say, well, how is it that he was 8 of 15 and this person was...
But ultimately, that should be irrelevant. Coaches and GMs should not make any decisions based on fans' opinion.
Yes.
However,
that is true.
If they do, they're bad at their job.
And we can all agree with that, right?
Yeah.
But it plays a role, whether it's a small role, whether it's a medium role, it's a big role. It plays a role in this. It should not. I agree.
I don't think
not.
it will.
It does. The public perception of certain players.
Bull, you really gonna tell me the public perception of Deshaun Watson doesn't have any effect on whether they would play him or possibly play Shedeur Sanders? That's disingenuous in itself to say, especially given the man got booed, given the man that the stadium goes crazy for Shedeur, wrist up, you see the kids going crazy at practice, all of these different things. Does ownership not want to sell tickets? If you don't think the ownership's pockets are part of this decision, y'all want to make all this talk about the contract and Deshaun Watson's contract, right? In return on investment because Jimmy Haslam invested that money into him. What about the money that Shedeur Sanders can reap for the Cleveland Browns by putting him in and letting people come watch this guy this season? Nobody takes that into consideration?
Yeah.
And especially if you're home, what's the most important position in all sports?
Quarterback.
Right?
Why would you're saying Todd Monken is going to be affected? His decision on who the quarterback's going to be affected by fan reaction?
No, I just think you're putting Deshaun in a very awkward position in the middle of a quarterback battle. If he goes out on the field,
don't you want to find out? You don't find out what a guy's really about until you put him in an awkward position.
More important.
But you're trying to. Sorry, okay. You're trying to wring whatever you can out of Deshaun, right? Like they've quit. If they were done with Deshaun, they would have cut him and moved on. Right? The fact that he's he's in a quarterback competition means they're trying to wring out whatever they can.
And the fact that Bull and McNuggets go at it, like Bull literally hates McNuggets. I swear he is always on McNuggets' head about everything.
And get from Deshaun.
Fight back.
It might be one drop of liquid. It could be enough to fill the jar.
Babying him is not going to help you wring it something.
But he's here. If he, listen.
Yeah.
If it was up to me, Deshaun would be cutting off the roster. I agree with you in that sense.
Yeah.
But he's here. He's part of the competition. He is battling with Shedeur Sanders to be the starting quarterback in Week 1 for the Cleveland Browns. If he is in the conversation to be in that position, then you have to see what you have in him. And by starting him on the road as opposed to starting at home, you're getting a chance first because you still have a chance later to put him out in front of the home crowd to see what he can do in his first game action in front of an environment that is not your hometown bully.
I actually think in that scenario, if that happens, if Shedeur, be ready for it. This is just my theory. Ain't nobody told me. But if Shedeur comes out and he is demonstrably better in the second preseason game, I think that they'll bring Deshaun Watson right back in the third one and be like, yeah, we're going to give you another opportunity to rebuttal.
On the other hand, if Shedeur stinks in the preseason and Deshaun plays even decently, he might not play in game 3 and he's just going to be the starter.
Zach Jackson said that he thinks they'll name a starter after the Buffalo game.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying your theory's not.
To me, I do think it is even enough because for what I've seen at practice, we talk about the cadence stuff. I said it on the other day. I said, listen, cadence is cool, but the receiver got to learn to line up too. Like, it's just not the quarterback. Like, if you jumping off sides, they ain't got nothing to do with the quarterback. You jumped off sides, or you false started. Like, we got to get down. Obviously, the quarterback has a role to play in all that. But my thing is, when I'm watching the plays, I feel like Shedeur Sanders consistently makes bigger plays in practice. The big throws, the throws where you see like, okay, well, that was a crazy throw. The point I get is, that's not it with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, if he got the procedure down, awesome. But my question is,
make throws.
What's more important, the pre-snap stuff where you get people into whatever the coach wants you to do, or the post-snap evaluation and processing to throw the ball to the right people. He's had way too many interceptions where I'm like, dang, bro, it's 3 people there. I can see if it was just coverage and they made him.
But got tipped.
Clearly, though, neither one has played well enough to win the job at this point. Otherwise, they would have named the starter.
Do you know what yesterday's announcement in the big picture told me? Because he told Cameron Wolf on NFL Network earlier he was going to start one game, the other.
Yeah.
Whoever gets the majority of the reps in the joint practice against Buffalo is the clear frontrunner to be named the starter. Because if they're each getting a start, and Monken said after the joint practices, we're not 100% sure if we're going to play the starters against Buffalo. How are you getting an apples-to-apples evaluation from one game to the next? I think whoever is the guy at the quarterback position getting the majority of the reps in the joint practice against Buffalo will be far more telling than anything we see in the preseason
Probably.
games.
And I can't agree with that. Personally, I can't. Cannot agree with that. You know why? Because to me, it's still competition time. Now, the only way that can be true is if Deshaun Watson comes out and just stinks it up. If he stinks it up this preseason game, then yeah, if Shedeur gets most of the reps during the Buffalo week, then for sure you can look at it like that. We have to see these guys play it out, man. I think it all is going to be determined on how Saturday looks. It's all going to be determined on how Saturday looks from these guys, right? See these guys working here now, getting some of that good work in. When we talk about the competition and actually diagnosing and looking at it and what Coach Monken can be looking at, Deshaun Watson has a different slate of issues on his plate right now. Okay, he has the speed of the game. He has the fact that he's battling back from injury. He has the fact that he hasn't played but 19 games out of a possible 85 in the last 6 years. He has all of these different factors, right? All of the time missed, catching up to everything. He has a completely different slate on his hands right now. Shedeur Sanders, all of the things that we've talked about and looked at as far as for him, getting the ball out on time, in rhythm, that's a strike. That is a strike. That's what we're talking about. On time, in rhythm, the accuracy. Tell me that's not an NFL pass. My goodness, look at the window. That's a great pass right there. That is a great pass. .38. My boy 38 be getting scorched earth. I'm trying to tell you. We seen this before. This is that same pass to when 38 got cooked. 38! What you doing, buddy? Need you to get in the picture. Let's move forward. This morning, Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima. Shouts out to 92.3 The Fan. This footage is courtesy of them. Let's see what they had to say.
For Cleveland Plain Dealer and Cleveland.com, and we are very thankful to have her here this morning. Mary Kay, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
We're doing well. I want to get to something later about the past. I want to start with the now and the present right now. This is big stuff. All right, Deshaun Watson's going to start on Saturday. Shedeur Sanders is going to start next Saturday against the Bills. This is after the joint practice. Is the joint practice against the Bills more important than both of these games together?
It could be. I'm curious to see how Todd Monken handles the reps in that game. If he gives the majority of those reps to Deshaun Watson, I think that's going to be significant. But he has also been making a little bit of noise about splitting some of those first-team reps in that practice. So I think that's something to watch right there.
Well, we've been wondering, for the last few days, does it make a difference who starts this game as opposed to Buffalo? I thought this was a good opportunity for Shedeur over those next two games and that scrimmage, the joint practice, to be able to actually win the job. But others totally disagree. They think now this is totally slated for Deshaun Watson to win.
Well, I think this shows that at this moment in time that Deshaun Watson has the slight edge in the competition. I think
Where would you get that assumption from? Everybody, where would you get that assumption from? Because he gets to go against the Bears? No, it seems like they're looking out for him in his own best interest as far as not dealing with boos from the home team. Just being able to go out there and play and worry about football. Somebody please tell me where they're getting off with this stuff. This is clearly he's in the pole position. We talked about this at the beginning of the show. I told you this was going to come up.
Would probably go
Deshaun Watson to win.
Well, I think this shows that at this moment in time that Deshaun Watson has the slight edge in the competition. I think you would probably go ahead and start who you think might be your starting quarterback in the first preseason game. That's what makes sense to me. But next week is a pivotal week. It really is. It's a pivotal week with that practice and with that game against the Bills. Once those two things are over, I believe that they will know the identity of their starting quarterback. I don't think they will necessarily announce it by then, but I think they will know. And I think that Deshaun going first is meaningful. I think it means that right now he has the inside track to win the job, and it's almost his job to lose. But again, things can change next week. Deshaun has to go out there and show them certain things, and then Shedeur has to do the same.
Mary Kay, is it your reading and seeing the stuff that you've been able to see every day that Deshaun Watson has the edge, or is there stuff behind the scenes that we can't possibly account for that is the reason he has the edge?
Well, some of it is behind the scenes, but some of it is at the line of scrimmage that you can't always see when you're out there. You can't necessarily understand when they're, far away from you what's happening pre-snap in terms of changing the play or IDing or sliding the protection or whatever, handling the cadences. Those are all things that are happening right out there on the field.
So once again, those are all things that they want to question as far as for Shedeur Sanders. Although we've watched, I've been there, we've seen time in, time out. This guy has showed the progression. He's shown the availability to get guys in and out of the huddle, slide protections, identify the mic, all those particular things. And yet we still have to have, we're a couple days away from the first preseason game, and we still have to have these conversations with Mary Kay. This is your Cleveland media, folks.
And so a lot of it is what's going on the field. Now, once Shedeur does get that ball in his hand, he's done a really, really nice job with fitting it into some tight windows. I will say that there have been more wobblers this year than I remember last year, but it's still, for the most part, getting where it's supposed to go. And he has made a lot of really nice passes, a lot of completions. He's protecting the football, and he has risen to the occasion. Every time they throw down the gauntlet at him, he comes through in a big way, including after they took away his first-team reps on Saturday and gave those to Deshaun Watson.
Mary Kay Cabot joining us here on the show. Is there any fear for them that because there were a lot of people going, well, they just don't want the fans to boo Deshaun Watson next Saturday at home. Is that any consideration whatsoever to the organization?
I think it is. I think that they need.
First thing I can say I agree with. It absolutely is. That's why you bring Deshaun Watson out. So if that's... Let me call him Mary Kay. If you believe that could be a factor as far as their decision making, right? They're worried about the fans booing Deshaun Watson. Then 5 minutes earlier, you just told us you thought them giving Deshaun the first start was because he was in pole position. He was the guy that they're looking at as far as having the edge in the quarterback competition. You see how you talk out of both sides. That's everybody with this Cleveland media. We talk out of both sides, man. These guys here are ridiculous. Mary Kay is ridiculous as well, man. So when we dive into this thing and we start to think now, what I want us to do is I want us to think about some projections as far as for Saturday, right? When we start thinking and we start talking about the Cleveland Browns, right? What are we expecting? Offensively, defensively, what are we expecting from Deshaun Watson, man? Honestly, what I'm expecting is for Deshaun Watson to come out here and give us his best effort at trying to still be an NFL quarterback. Whether it's going to be successful or not, I'm not very sure. We'll see, right? The defense, I want to see those guys come out and be productive. I want to see Jared Verse get in the backfield at least twice. I want to see 2 sacks. 2 preseason sacks in the first game from Jared Verse is what I want to see. I don't think it's too much to ask. I want to see EMW fly around, do his thing. Honestly, this is the moment we've been waiting for. We waited all summer, fans. We waited all summer to get to the point where now we're actually going to have real football to be able to judge, diagnose, look at all of those things, right? So we'll be able to take a look. What I do want to let you know is, I believe Sunday. Now, Saturday after the game, we will be doing a recap, right? Saturday after the preseason game, we're going to be doing a recap. Sunday, what we'll have for you is something similar to this here, okay? And we'll give you guys some all-22 breakdown, right? So we'll get you guys some of these angles, and that's going to be as far as for the Browns. We're going to give you all these angles, man. So we'll be able to stop, diagnose. We'll be able to see what our offensive line is doing, whether they're holding up in coverage, whether they're holding up in the run game, pass game. We'll be able to see situations just like this, and we'll be able to take all of our good tools here. We'll have the highlighter. We'll have the money sign. I personally love the money sign to be able to show you what we're talking about, guys moving. We're going to see, all the different things that we can look at with this. We'll be able to identify the Mike linebacker. We'll be able to tell you what coverages they're in. We'll be able to tell you what type of defense they're in. We'll be able to tell you some stylistic things, and then we'll compare and contrast some of the things that we've seen before as far as with Coach Monken. But when we look at this is what you have coming up this weekend, man. I cannot lie to you. We're going to be able to get to it. Yeah, they back there going crazy. We got that family fun house going on, man. So, in totality, folks, man, we got to wait and see what's going on. We have to wait and see what's going on. JB Too Smooth, I appreciate you being up in here. Everybody, I appreciate all of you guys being up in here. This is my favorite part of the show, where now we are going to tap in with you, the viewer. However long this goes is all determined on you guys. So we can have a conversation for a while, or we can get up out of here. Let me go ahead and shout out everybody I can see. Irvin Reed, shouts out to you. Black Pearl, what's going on? R Jizzle, what's happening? Charmaine, appreciate you on that high five too. R Jizzle, I see you up in here, man. You had a lot of comments today, man. They didn't even talk about the insurance money. Absolutely not. When they start talking about Deshaun Watson and his contract, nobody ever brings up the insurance money saved. Shouts out to Andrew Berry. Miss Charmaine, what's going on? Ivy League Mac, I see you up in here as well. JB Too Smooth, my guy, what's going on? I'm not going to lie, these takes be sounding intentionally ignorant. Yeah, a lot of times when we start looking at people covering the Browns, it's just lazy. It's just, the Browns are the Browns, right? We also got Irvin Reed. What's going on, family? How are you, Irvin Reed? See who else we have in here. Selmo Fudd. Big shout out to Selmo Fudd. How you doing today? Let's see if there's anybody else. Miss Sonia Augustine. Excuse me. How you doing today? Salute, brother. But Bull is a super goofy. Miss Augustine, you crazy. For sure. Who else we got in here? I already know we got you guys already. Quick clips, appreciate you. Mary Kay likes every other quarterback but Shador. She's biased when critiquing Sanders every single time. Trash can. I feel you on that, man. I feel you on that. That's why the play is going to speak for itself. We're at the point where people can't just sit here and talk about what they think. He said, R Jizzle, don't ruin my day either. Y'all are funny, man. So if you have any questions or comments right now, go ahead and drop them in here. We're going to go ahead and get up out of here in a little bit. But what I want to say is my predictions, these are my predictions. So if they steal them, man, they patent it right here. These are my predictions. I got Jared Verse with 2 sacks Saturday, right? I got Deshaun Watson with 2 interceptions. Two interceptions, right? But then he'll look somewhat solid towards the end of that first half. Oh, man, shouts out to JB Too Smooth, man. We got a super chat up in the building. JB Too Smooth says, this is my stat line for Watson. 13 to 20. 1 to 2 touchdowns, interception, 2 to 3 sacks. He'll have an overall B+ performance. What you think? I think we're pretty close. As far as thinking how he's going to perform. I honestly think it might be a little bit worse. I'm looking at 1 to 2 picks. I think he might get 1 touchdown. I don't see 2. One touchdown, and I know Coach Monken's offense is going to be good, but I don't know if Deshaun Watson can process. I don't know if Deshaun Watson can adapt to the speed of the game. I know it's preseason, he'll be seeing vanilla defenses, but my question for him is the phantom rush. Can he see down the field? Big shout out to JB Smooth. I think that's pretty accurate. I honestly think it's going to be a little bit worse, especially on the turnover margin. As many turnovers as we saw in camp, for him to come out with just one pick would be surprising to me. For him to come out with just one pick would be very surprising to me. Shout out to you, JB Too Smooth, man. Black Pearl and Urban Reed. Shouts out to you guys. What the odds say? I don't know. I gotta get on FanDuel or DraftKings to see what's going on. It's some videos of her online stepping with the sisterhood. Stop the cat. Oh man, that's crazy work. Urban Reed says I got Watson getting injured after 14 to 22, 150 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 2. Wow. Okay, well, he was already having a nasty day. 14 to 22 isn't terribly horrible, but the 2 INTs, that's crucial. That's crucial. Dang. That's what I'm saying. He got him getting injured. Like, damn. Urban Reed said, yeah, I done seen this story before. Urban Reed said, I have seen this story before. That's funny. He said, hey, I hope he don't get injured, man. Shouts out to Deshaun Watson, man. I don't think he'll get injured. Now, I don't think he's going to play the greatest, man, but I don't wish injury on him, though. I don't think you're wishing injury, but, you know, what we've seen as far as the history with Deshaun Watson, yeah, typically, yeah, like SpongeBob, he got glass bones, paper skin. That's crazy, man. Honestly, I feel like he will turn the ball over. I think we saw in camp turnovers. I told you, the 2 days I was there in camp, I saw him turn the ball over at least twice. The very first day I was there at camp, he threw back-to-back interceptions on plays. Back-to-back interceptions. Why 2 picks, though? JB Too Smooth, once again, because when I was at camp, there was a lot of turnovers in camp. Now, those numbers got stretched out and made to look a lot better with that one Sunday 7-on-7 from the 2-yard line, where they threw in all those touchdowns, 7 or 8 touchdowns that they threw on the quarterback tracker. But if you minus those 7 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, or whatever they gave them, and you go look at those turnovers, that boy was turning the ball over a lot. And one of the things that seems to happen is when it's a rush, he feels the rush, he escapes the pocket, and then he throws the ball right into traffic. And we've seen that time in and time out. That's why I feel like 2 picks. Especially playing the whole half. And he's going to be pressing to try and show what he can do, man. Yeah, I think 2 picks. He turned the ball over a lot. Todd might help him out with the run game more. Yeah, but then are we getting a fair evaluation? I mean, if we're just going to babysit him the whole time, he's a 10-year vet. We can't babysit him in the preseason. No, his injury will put him out until week 1 or 2. Stop it, Urban Reed. Black Pearl says Deshaun Watson is going to try and show out. I got him having at least 2 TDs, maybe a fumble. I feel like he is going to try and do something, but will it come with a risk? He's sloppy with those passes, though. I'm trying to tell you, in the camp, we've seen him be careless with the football. Now, we've seen him make some money time deep passes as well. They look good. But time and time again, we've seen him put the ball in careless positions. Plus, they're not counting everything on the tracker. Yep. Watson getting babysat is wild. It's sink or swim for him. Yeah, I agree with that, Juan Sosa Gaming. Big shouts out to you. I don't feel like we should come in and water it down with a bunch of runs and make everything super simplistic for him. This guy isn't a rookie. He isn't a second-year player. This guy is a 10-year veteran. And I feel like the play calling should be as such. Especially what we're trying to see what this guy can do for the duration of the season. We need to see him in all aspects, see what he can get to. Definitely doesn't need to be babysat. Not at all. About neck and neck minus that 7 touchdown day. For sure, R. Jizzle. For sure. But you know what wasn't neck and neck? Them interceptions. If you look at this like WWE instead of NFL, you can see the play playing out. Yeah. If he gets hurt again, though, Irvin Reed, hang him up. Hang him up. All right, family, we're going to go ahead and get up out of here at this point. I appreciate everybody being up in here. Shouts out to everybody. We're going to try and get back with you guys with some more going on. We're going to drop some clips and things of that coming up. Make sure you like, subscribe, all those good things. If you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and tap it before you get out of here, man. It doesn't cost you anything. They said Chicago playing their players. Yeah, well, they just tried to tell you, oh, we're probably not going to see the first team. No, he's seeing the first team. Let's get this work. Shouts out to you, Art Jizzle. I appreciate you being up in here, man. Once again, everybody, I appreciate you interacting in the chat every time, man. Thank you. It means the world to me. Shouts out to JB Too Smooth, man, with that super chat. Thank you very much, sir. I want everybody to have a great day. Love your family. Kiss your family. Even if you've been arguing with them, tell them you love them and then go on about your way. But everybody have a great rest of the day. We're going to try and tap in later with you guys. If not, we'll be back tomorrow for sure. Have a great rest of your day, though.